In this lesson, we continue to solve problems involving hyperbolas. Recall the standard equation for a hyperbola with center hk. For horizontal hyperbolas, we have x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1, and vertical hyperbolas, y minus k squared over b squared minus x minus h squared over a squared equals 1. And for all hyperbolas, b squared is equal to c squared minus a squared. Let's find the equation for the hyperbola with center 1, 2. I'll go ahead and plot the center. Vertex 1, 0. And focus 1, negative 1. Okay, so to find the equation for this hyperbola, we can see that we're going to have a vertical transverse axis. So we will use the equation here, y minus k squared over b squared minus x minus h squared over a squared equals 1. I know what hk is, my center. And so we can go ahead and we have y minus 2 squared over b squared, whatever that is, minus x minus 1 squared over a squared, whatever that is, equals 1. So let's find a squared and b squared. Okay, so b squared is easy. B is going to be the distance from the center to the vertex here, and so b will be equal to 2. That means that b squared will be equal to 4. A squared we still need to work on, but we can see the distance from the center to our focus will be c. So here c equals 3. And using the equation, b squared equals c squared minus a squared, we know that b squared is equal to 4, c squared is equal to 9, and so a squared will be equal to 5 here. Thus we have the equation y minus 2 squared over 4 minus x minus 1 squared over 5 equals 1, the equation for our hyperbola. Next, let's put this equation into standard form. Negative x squared plus 4y squared minus 2x minus 8y minus 1 equals 0. And I can see that the negative here is in front of the x squared, and so I'm going to put the 4y squared first, followed by minus 8y, then minus x squared minus 2x equals 1. So I collect the y terms, the x terms, and put the number over on the right-hand side. I'll put some parentheses around 4y squared minus 8y, also around plus negative x squared minus 2x equals 1. From the 4y squared minus 8y, I'm going to factor out a 4 so that the y squared has a coefficient of 1. So I'll have y squared minus 2y, leave some space, plus I'll factor out a negative 1 from negative x squared minus 2x, leaving me with x squared plus 2x, again some space, equals 1. We'll complete the square on the y's. We'd need to add a 1 here. We'll complete the square on the x's, adding a 1. But remember, if I add 1 on the left side, I'll need to do the same on the right side. I'm actually adding 4 here, 4 times 1. I will need to add 4 on the right side, and I'm actually adding negative 1 on the left side for the x terms, and so I'll need to add a negative 1 on the right side as well. We then will have 4 times y minus 1 squared minus x plus 1 squared equals 4. And making this look like the hyperbola that it is, I will divide through by 4 so that we'll end up with a 1 on the right-hand side. Finally, in standard form, our hyperbola is y minus 1 squared over 1 minus x plus 1 squared over 4 equals 1. Next, let's take this equation and graph it. I can see that I have a center of negative 1, 1. And I can see that I will have a vertical transverse axis. So we could see that b squared equals 1, or b equals 1. and that a squared equals 4 or a equals 2. Okay, so before we go further, let's look at what is our transverse axis. It would be x equals -1. Our conjugate axis is perpendicular to that through the center, would be y equals 1. To graph our hyperbola, from the center we'll go up a distance of b, or 1, to find a vertex. We'll go down from the center a distance of 1 as well to find our other vertex. For graphing, we need to go a distance of a in each direction from the vertices. Okay, I'll draw the box. Draw in the asymptotes that go through the center and through the corners of the box. Finally, graphing the hyperbola by going through the vertices and approaching the asymptotes. Okay, and the other thing we're asked for is the foci. So we have B and A. To find C, recall that B squared equals C squared minus A squared. And so 1 will equal C squared minus 4. C squared will equal 5, or C will equal the square root of 5. From the center, to find the foci, I will go up square root of 5. So we'll have one focus at -1, 1 plus square root of 5, and another focus down from the center, square root of 5, will be at -1, 1 minus square root of 5. Try on your own. Is the following a circle, parabola, ellipse, or hyperbola? Y squared plus 8x minus 4y plus 5 equals 0. How would you determine which type of conic section an equation in general form represents? Then, using the above equation as a basis, create equations for the other 3 conic sections. In other words, find equations with y squared, 8x, 4y, and 5 in them, adding terms or changing signs as necessary to create the other 3 types of conic sections.